common criticism of your work is that you tend to do stories about people in the lower classes, and these stories are often unrelentingly gloomy. You defend yourself by saying that you're an artist and you have every right to choose what story to do. Now, let me ask you this: why this particular social milieu? Why tackle?
Well, if you look at something like Be With Me, because I mean, after 12 stories, everybody's going, "Oh my goodness, is it going to be B2 unit? Does the lady jump?" And they will come up with crazy terms like I'm the Prince of Darkness or the Cinema Hall or what. Now, I basically feel attracted to characters. That's one of the reasons why, like in Be With Me, the attraction to Teresa, she's the pillar. Similarly with Francis and in My Magic, he's the tour de force. People would say, well, I want to do a film about an alcoholic, this, that. Oh, now it's like, why do you want to do a Tamil film? But if Francis was Russian, then he'd be speaking Russian,
You seem to find more drama in the lower classes.
Well, I don't think it's so much drama in the lower classes, but, maybe I was subjected at a very early age to something like Masters of the Sea. And having watched that, I realized, hey, my heart goes out to growing up any, time. Okay. And I feel actually more attracted to... Okay, if you look at someone like the Meepok Man, it's almost like the Frankenstein monster, He's someone that's really beautiful, but yet society doesn't really care for him. Now, I think if we did another type of film, let's say like a Masters of the Sea or whatever, I think the characters would really have to grab me. If you look at it, okay, 12 stories, we had the Ko Bun Pin character, and he was a school teacher. He spoke perfect English. He had everything that I think most white-collar workers would aspire to be. And I would say with 12 stories, if anything, it was more so inspired by all the... at the time, I don't think there was home section in Straits Times, but there was the local section. There was a story from there, right down to, horrible Singaporeans that park on handicapped slots, or the new paper with all their social human interest stories of China nationals coming in to get the guys. And then,
But why specifically tackle this social milieu? I mean, you almost never done a story that comes from your own background, so to speak.
Well, it would really be what is that character that I'm thinking about that appeals to me. I think regardless of where or the background in which this character is from, doesn't really make much of a difference, but it's the character. And at this point, I haven't really been able to think of a character that I feel would be exciting enough, unless we do like an American Psycho, and I'm strolling towards maybe even doing a zombie film about Shenton Way bankers who go a bit amok. Yeah.
One of the things that constrains Singapore filmmakers is that the budgets are never that big, and that our films can never go beyond like $1 million, which is 1% of Hollywood budget. Now, in your heart of hearts, if you were not constrained by budget, what kind of film would you make? Do you imagine yourself making like a big sci-fi film?
I think if I was given $1 million, I'd probably make 10 films. But, I would say that really, as you know, like My Magic was really a shoestring budget. And it doesn't really matter what the budget is. And I'll say this, the film got into Cannes main competition, and it's really difficult to get in there. And it's not that we spent $1 million or more. I think if there's some, I would say that with filmmaking and all that, right? The film, especially coming out of Singapore or some country where the industry is still not quite there yet, they have to be something a little bit more special, I feel. And in that sense, it doesn't necessarily tantamount to budget.
So you're saying that these are the films that you really want to make in your heart of hearts, that you don't dream of making something bigger?
I don't want to make anything bigger, but maybe, The Road would have been nice, or Spider-Man, or The Silver Surfer.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, whether or not you like his films, there is no denying that Eric Khoo is a tour de force, and he has, given major contributions to the Singapore industry.
Definitely.
He has led the way for a lot of filmmakers, just by being who he is, and just by
Making films that are close to his heart.
That's right.
What films do you like from? I mean, what
Of all his films, I would say 12 stories.
You like 12 stories.
Yeah, probably because it was an omnibus of short stories, and there were characters there that I could identify with. But like I said, his films are very, very gloomy, and they're always set in a HDB flat. So
it's not like the under one roof thing, hey?
It's not like the under one roof is, so I'm like, okay. But I mean, technically and cinematically, he's a very, very good director. There's no question about it. And he's very good with actors. He often brings out extraordinary performances from sometimes amateur actors. And he's brought very good performances from actors, I'm not going to name names, after acting in Eric Khoo's films became big, but never delivered the same level of performances that they did in an Eric Khoo film.
Yeah.
So,
the director plays a very important part in the movie, especially in the guidance of the actors.
Yeah. And there's another thing that Eric Khoo should be noted for is the fact that he takes it upon himself to groom a lot of young filmmakers. And one of them, of course, is Royston Tan. Royston Tan was making short films. And even though, like those of us who always go to the substation and watch short films, we knew who Royston Tan was, and we knew that he was a great short filmmaker. But Royston Tan did not have the money to make anything big, and I think that was when Eric Khoo approached him and offered to help finance or help put together his first feature film, which was 15, and subsequently Royston Tan became more and more famous.
So he helped the up-and-coming directors too.
Absolutely, but last year Royston Tan left the company to start his own, and there were a lot of rumors and gossip that they didn't get along, and that Royston didn't feel that he was being paid enough. There were all these rumors that were circling. So I asked Eric what really happened. Let's roll the clip.
Let's see.
Can I ask you, what exactly happened between you and Royston?
Well, with Royston, he wanted to go and set up his own place, and I thought that's a good thing. Why not? I think the more filmmakers you get, I mean, that's one of the reasons why for Tawai Films we're always trying to promote the young filmmakers. We've just produced a film of Brian Gotong Tan, and next one will be Bu Jong Fong. With Royston, it's the same thing. I remember when I saw a short film, 15, and having seen his other short films, I thought it was time for him to make a feature. So I remember I approached Royston and said, why don't you do a feature? And he goes, but I got no money. I said, okay, never mind. We'll see what we can come up with and just go for it. So we made 15 into a feature film. And it was a good piece of work. Then we went to do 4:30, and then I realized, we should actually do something commercial, because I'd seen Royston's musicals. And Royston was ready at one point, and again, destiny, I would say, because he bumped into Mindy and Yen Yen, and it was funny because that night I was actually talking to Mr. Man from MDA, and we had a different script that Royston was to direct, right? But then we kept on saying, me and Mr. Man, he should do a musical. And Chun Chun that night, he was somewhere in Orchard Road, he bumps into two girls, and then they start talking about this, and he calls up and says, look, I'm ready to do the musical, right? So we do 881, and 881 was incredible. I mean, it's the highest grossing film last year. And then after that, he said, I think it's time I start something. And why not? I mean, I think it's a good thing.
Was the breakup amicable?
Yeah, very amicable. I mean, after that, we still spoke. And have
you seen his latest film? What do you think of it?
Well, I haven't seen his latest film. I will give it a shot maybe next week or so, but I feel that he's very, very talented as a filmmaker, and we need just more people doing this. Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yes, and I think it's great that Eric Khoo does these things to groom up-and-coming filmmakers. I know for a fact that Brian Gotong Tan and Bu Jun Feng, who are the two filmmakers he spoke of, are extremely talented. I've seen their short films; they're amazing. So maybe they'll be our next Royston Tan.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing more good films around.
Absolutely.
By local
yeah, thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoy our segment on Eric Khoo.
And next up is Rach with Daryl and Sarah.
Sarah.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.